do y'all remember the time when federal agents were looking into Diddy for allegedly doing some unspeakable things to younger men in the industry?
What's up with the YouTube? It's your boy on here, and I'm back with another video. Hey, right, if you already know what's going on, you know what I need you to do. Subscribe to the channel. That's what I need you to do first and foremost before we get into the video. Do that for your boy. Turn up. Let's get it. Let's pop. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on with your boy Diddy? That's what I want to know. Everybody know. Everybody done heard. I mean, he gonna like what he gonna like, and he been liking what he been liking since he been liking it. You know what I'm saying? Let's go and get into the video, man. Shout out to TriniTEA, man. TriniTEA.
Diddy is on his fourth lawsuit for abuse, assault, among other things in the past recent weeks, and there have been blind items and rumors that he has abused and assaulted men as well. Here is a new blind item. I suspect the soon-to-step-forward male victim of SA by this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so. And again, this is allegedly Sean Diddy Combs.
You being a part of Bad Boy at one point, how do you feel about these lawsuits accusing Diddy of abuse? What do you think about that? You knowing Diddy, do you think he's capable of doing that, man?
It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, you know, what makes him.
Y'all, I swear, it's starting to look like we're never going to get through this Surviving Diddy series because more and more people are still coming out to speak on Diddy, and Bryshere Gray just joined that list because word on the streets is that he is allegedly filing a $50 million lawsuit against Diddy and Will Smith for allegedly SAing him. But that's not all, because the streets are now saying that Diddy allegedly also SA'd rapper Osiris. And chilly, this drama just got more insane than you could ever imagine.
Cause y'all always talking about these rappers, always talking about and giving y'all all these stupid talks. Oh, this God bless it, what God wants you to do. No, this is not what God wants you to do. You go through all this shit. The devil give you all this money. Go through all this shit to destroy yourself.
Y'all, the Surviving Diddy era is in full swing, and we're starting to hear more and more revelations that have us shook to the core. Diddy has been getting hit with lawsuits left and right, and there were speculations that more people would come forward and expose him for doing some bad things to them. And it looks like those speculations were right, because actor Bryshere Gray and rapper Osiris are coming out to expose Diddy for allegedly SAing them. And in the case of Bryshere, he is claiming that Diddy and Will Smith allegedly forced him into freak-offs against his will. There were reports that this was going to happen because last week a blind item came out to reveal that multiple young men in the industry were going to start speaking up against Diddy.
Diddy is on his fourth lawsuit for abuse, assault, among other things in the past recent weeks, and there have been blind items and rumors that he has abused and assaulted men as well. Here is a new blind item.
Hey, Cassie done opened it up for everybody. Everybody that he's physically did in the SA, you know what I'm saying? Anything. She opened it up for him. Now everybody want to speak out. I want to know why everybody ain't being Bill Cosby. Why it's taking these other folks so long when they Bill Cosby soon as people start coming out with stuff. No evidence, no nothing.
I suspect the soon-to-step-forward male victim of SA by this A-list mogul will not be the last man to do so. And again, this is allegedly Sean Diddy Combs.
For a hot minute now, people have been wondering what happened to Bryshere and why he left the industry so suddenly. He had a great career on Empire, and there were high expectations that he was going to have a very successful career after leaving Empire and do great things. But that never happened because he just went poof from the industry, and we never really heard from him after the show ended. As it turns out, his disappearing act wasn't exactly voluntary, because the streets are saying that Bryshere got blackballed from the industry by Will Smith and Diddy after he tried to get out of their freak-offs because he never wanted to do it to start with. But they were not about to let him go without consequences, and they got him canceled. In case you're wondering how he even got hooked up in this sort of stuff, let me break it down for you. When Bryshere was only a teenager, he met Charlie Mack, a talent manager who helped Bryshere get an invitation to audition for Empire. Bryshere killed it at the audition and landed the role, so he moved to LA to star in the show. With Charlie being his manager, Charlie ended up being the perfect choice for Bryshere as a manager because he had some insane connections connections in Hollywood. He had access to the movers and shakers in the industry, and he connected Bryshere to some of the biggest names in the industry, including Will Smith. Will and Bryshere hit it off immediately, which wasn't hard because Will was impressed with Bryshere's performance on Empire. Will then became something of a role model to Bryshere, and they formed a mentor relationship dynamic, which sounds pretty sweet on paper, right? I mean, which industry newbie wouldn't want to be mentored by one of the biggest names in the industry? For example, Alexis Arquette, who knew Will on a personal level, spilled the tea that Will's first marriage to Cherie Zampino ended because Cherie caught him in bed with a man. Alexis wrote, "When Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked into him, servicing his sugar daddy Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. She being his first wife. Paid off? Silent." Alexis Arquette wasn't the only one who spoke on Will, because Jaguar Wright also came out to reveal that Will had affairs with multiple younger men in the industry. She claimed that he pretends to mentor the men, but then he allegedly forces them into a relationship that leaves them traumatized.
They're both bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills. Bryshere Gray left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a dog.
In a rant against Will's wife, Jada, Trisha Paytas called Will out for allegedly forcing her male dancers to sleep with him.
How about worry about your cheating husband being my male dancers, when they didn't want to? How about talk about that?
Also, do y'all remember the time when federal agents were looking into Diddy for allegedly doing some unspeakable things to younger men in the industry? Back in 2013, there were reports that Diddy was being investigated by federal agencies for sleeping with young guys. According to reports, during a debriefing session with federal investigators, James Roseman, the music manager turned cocaine kingpin, was reportedly questioned about the sexual preferences of entertainers, including whether Sean Diddy Combs was having intimate relationships with underage boys, according to a U.S. District Court filing. Then came Cassie's bombshell lawsuit, and that was the first time that we really got to hear about some of the things that Diddy had going on in private. And y'all, it was not a nice picture. Turns out, Diddy had a thing for male escorts, and Cassie spilled the tea about him dragging her into some seriously wild escapades with these escorts, which he referred to as freak-offs. She claimed that Diddy would hire the male escorts and force her to be intimate with them while he watched and got off on it. He would also direct the freak-offs, telling her what to do and how to do it. According to Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, Diddy was actively involved in the freak-offs himself. Gene claimed that Diddy gave Cassie a shopping list of things to look for in an escort because he was having her shop for an escort for his pleasures and not hers.
And she say that, in this lawsuit that, Diddy, he enjoyed watching her get smashed by BBCs. So, what you think about that?
Do you think she was the only one getting banged by him? Do you think this man had this woman search for prostitutes online just for them to have sex with her?
And according to sources, Cassie wasn't the only one who Diddy had freakouts with, because he allegedly had freak-offs with Will as well. You see, for years, there have been rumors that Will and Diddy are on the DL and that they have been allegedly engaging in freak-offs for ages now. The rumors of Diddy and Will allegedly being gay partners have been going around for years now. But at first, people didn't buy it because we all assumed that Will was in a happy, long-term relationship with Jada, but then Jada came out to reveal that she and Will have actually been separated for a while now.
Was that in 2016, you and Will decided that you were going to live completely separate lives.
Yes.
It was not a divorce on paper,
right,
but it was a divorce. So from the year 2016, which is 7 years ago now,
yes,
y'all have been apart.
Yeah.
Then we found out that Diddy was not the only man that Will had allegedly been doing the nasty with, because according to Will's former assistant and longtime friend, Bilal, Will also had a lil something with actor Dwayne Martin. Bilal sat down with Tasha K and revealed how he had caught Will and Dwayne doing the deed in Dwayne's dressing room.
So 3 minutes later, after them telling me, hey, you got eyes on Will, we need him to come watch this. So I'm running all over the studio. He's not in his dressing room. I go to the cafeteria. I'm like, but I see his car there. I'm like, where's this guy at? So, all right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder, like murder. It was murder in there.
But as it turns out, whatever Will had with Dwayne was child's play compared to the full-on freak fiesta he had going on with Diddy. So let's dive into this whole Will Smith mentorship thing for Bryshere, because it was kind of confusing. Like I said, Will was the one who linked Diddy and Bryshere. But as it turned out, he allegedly introduced Bryshere to Diddy, not only as a potential mentee, but also as a potential participant in their freak-offs. In Chile, the things that went on in the freak-offs were just insane, because it sounds like a nightmare in Cassie's lawsuit. According to the lawsuit, the first time Mr. Combs hired a man and brought the man to his home in Los Angeles, the man, Mr. Combs, and Ms. Ventura wore masquerade masks and ingested drugs. Mr. Combs directed Ms. Ventura to perform intimate acts with this man while Mr. Combs watched them. He got off to it while he directed Ms. Ventura and the man to do specific intimate acts. The entire encounter lasted multiple days. Mr. Combs began to call the arrangement a freak-off, or FO. He would repeatedly tell Ms. Ventura at random moments that he wanted an FO, and Ms. Ventura was eventually expected to facilitate the location and the hiring of male escorts. But that's not all, because Diddy also used to force her to use drugs before the freak-offs. She said, Mr. Combs always supplied Ms. Ventura and the escort with copious amounts of drugs before and during the FOs. Ms. Ventura was given ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and alcohol in excessive amounts during FOs, which allowed her to disassociate during these horrific encounters. It became commonplace to get IV fluids in the days after an FO to recover from the excessive substances pushed upon her. Ms. Ventura was required to dress up in lingerie for an FO, and Mr. Combs insisted she wear white nail polish to contrast her nails with the skin of the black men he hired to be intimate with her. According to sources, Diddy and Will allegedly forced Bryshere into freak-offs in exchange for promising to help him with his career. But after a couple of freak-off sessions, Bryshere quickly got disgusted with the lifestyle, and he chose to opt out because he just couldn't stand it anymore. The timing of this didn't work out so well, because not long after he decided to end things with Diddy and Will, Empire came to an end, and he was out of a job. After the show ended, Bryshere's life went on a downward spiral, and at first we thought that it was all his fault because he didn't handle his fame right. But as it turns out, his downward spiral began after he was allegedly cut off by Diddy and Will because they allegedly got him blacklisted from the industry. Allegedly, they were furious that Bryshere had the audacity to up and say that he was leaving them. Y'all know how Cassie said that Diddy threatened her career every time she tried to leave? Well, allegedly, the same thing happened to Bryshere, and they allegedly ruined his career as revenge, and also allegedly threatened him to keep his mouth shut. Have y'all ever wondered why Bryshere's career never took off, even though he was lucky enough to get both Will Smith and Diddy as his mentors so early on in his career? Well, it's allegedly because they were the ones who got him kicked out in the first place. After Empire ended, Bryshere tried his hand at music, and he released some songs that did quite well, and he even had plans to go on a tour. But then, all of a sudden, he stopped getting airplay, stopped getting callbacks from movie auditions, and was kicked out of the industry. The trauma of the situation messed with Bryshere's head so much that he started acting out, and he was no longer the cool-headed Bryshere who came to Los Angeles with high hopes for his career, and it wasn't long before he started getting into legal trouble. In July 2020, a woman ran into the streets and begged passers-by to help and take her to the police, claiming that her husband had been aggressive toward her. The passerby took her to the police station, and she claimed that she was Bryshere's wife and that he had put his hands on her.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. Up first tonight, we're following breaking news in the arrest of Bryshere Gray, one of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight, we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had assaulted her for hours inside their Goodyear home.
She told the police that Bryshere put his hands on her and choked her until she passed out. She also claimed that she had confronted him about cheating on her, which made him angry and led to him putting his hands on her.
You know, the alleged crime, brutal. Gray's wife calling 911 after escaping him at a Goodyear QT, claiming Gray punched her hundreds of times, strangled her, and threatened her with a knife.
Bryshere found himself in a legal storm, and he was charged with felony aggravated assault, a misdemeanor assault, and disorderly misconduct. He took a guilty plea for the DV charge and was sentenced to 10 days in the county jail plus a 3-year probation sentence. Well, according to insiders, Bryshere allegedly holds Diddy and Will responsible for ruining his life, and now that he has been hearing stories of other victims speaking up against Diddy, he is also speaking up against Diddy, claiming that the alleged freak-offs have left him with a lot of trauma that he hasn't gotten over for years. The insider also added that Bryshere is talking to lawyers about filing a lawsuit against Diddy and Will and wondering what his options are. He allegedly plans to ask for $50 million, but he's going to leave the eventual amount up to the courts. But hold on, because Bryshere is not the only youngster who is speaking up against Diddy and claiming that he was allegedly SA'd by Diddy. Osiris' lawsuit is only about Diddy and has nothing to do with Will, but it's just as bad as Bryshere's, or maybe even worse because the truth was right there in front of our eyes, but we didn't understand at the time. There's been this rumor going around about Osiris cozying up to Diddy, and it raised a lot of eyebrows and made people wonder if there was some behind-the-scenes hanky-panky going on between Diddy and Osiris. He dropped an album under the label, but the album was something of a flop, and he was dropped by the label in 2022. But he was pretty smart during the time he spent at Def Jam, and he networked pretty hard until he landed himself in Diddy's inner circle. Osiris kept his bromance alive with Diddy. At first, we thought that Diddy was mentoring him in music, just like he did to Bryshere, if you know what I mean. People thought that Diddy would even sign him to Bad Boy Records since they were such good friends, but that never happened. Instead, the streets said that Diddy kept him in his bed, but that's by the way. Anywho, the rumors of Osiris being Diddy's boy toy got even stronger when he and Diddy flew to Jamaica, and people couldn't stop talking about how it looked more like a B-cation between two romantic partners than two friends just having a good time. Don't get me wrong, guys taking trips together is no biggie. It happens all the time without any shady business. But this particular trip with Diddy had a weird vibe that had people giving them the side eye, and suddenly people started connecting the dots. Y'all know how I said that Diddy had a shady history with younger men in the industry and all that stuff? Well, people believe that Diddy had allegedly been grooming Osiris as his new boy toy, and this person said, "I thought this kid was gonna blow. He had some bops when he first came on the scene. Then it was like, unless you followed him, you really didn't hear much about him. Now all of a sudden, he's popping up more." I'm really starting to believe that any black guy that stays in those social circles, especially around Diddy's disgusting self, exes or are being sexed by men in the industry. Those who fall out or don't be in those circles refuse to bend. It is sick. The entire trip screamed zesty, and it all had to do with the pictures that Osiris posted. For example, when Diddy posted this shirtless picture of himself in the ocean, Osiris reposted the picture on his Instagram stories with grateful emojis, and people couldn't stop talking about how weird and fruity it seemed. But Osiris didn't stop there, because he also made this post and delete of him and Diddy getting a couple's massage by the sea, and there's no way y'all can tell me that the picture isn't zesty. Like, come on. It got even zestier when he also wrote, "Listening to that Diddy and B2K, eating that good fruit in the beautiful weather." What? But that wasn't all, because he also posted this photo, and fans believe that Diddy was feeding him grapes behind the scenes. Like I said, it sounded like they were on a vacation or something like that, because it certainly did not look like they were just friends. Also, it was clear that Diddy was the one who financed this luxury trip, because Osiris was broke AF at the time. A couple of months before the trip, he had come out to admit that he was broke, and he had to sell off some of his cars and other pricey items that he had just so he could get by. He also admitted that he was very bad with money and had blown most of the money he made from his short-lived music career, which wasn't all that much considering the fact that he didn't last all that long in Def Jam, and he only had one major song before that. The streets started talking about how Diddy was allegedly the one financing Osiris' life in exchange for him being his boy toy. Kind of like how he is believed to have been doing for Young Miami. But that's by the way. The situation got weirder when Osiris's ex-girlfriend revealed that she had dumped him because she had allegedly found him in bed with a man, saying, "Stop asking me what happened with my BD. I caught him with a man, okay?" Of course, people started talking about how the man in question was Diddy, which wouldn't have been surprising. I mean, he has been accused of making younger men in the industry into his boy toys so many times that we've kind of lost count of it all. His former bodyguard, Gene, is known to spill a lot of tea about Diddy, so it shouldn't be all that surprising that he spilled the tea on Diddy's escapades with...
He said, "Yo, Gene, watch the door, don't let nobody come through here." And I said I watched the door. If I watched the door and him and a man ran out naked, and I said that, ain't nobody told me that. I saw that myself.
Rapper Exhibit also told the wild story of the time when Diddy once took him to a gay bar and he had to run and leave Diddy at the bar.
He's doing his business. We go down and get a drink. You know, we sitting there vibing to the music, and then she pointed over the corner. It's two dudes kissing. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, then it's girls in the club too. And then she pointed another direction. It's another dude over there like, what ass naked.
Rapper The Game also had a couple of things to say about Diddy putting moves on him, and he threw shade at Diddy when he spoke about how he personally knows a particular DL rapper who tries to hide his sexuality by being a womanizer or having multiple kids with different baby mamas. And considering that Diddy has 4 baby mamas, I'd say that Diddy fits right into that alley.
So you think that you've worked with a gay rapper?
Yeah, and gay, not being just full out gay, but hiding it, trying to pretend like he, loves girls and live the rap lifestyle. Really, he's a man fan.
50 Cent has also been putting his back into exposing Diddy for years now, like the time he said, "Sorry, I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under the leadership of Putty Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow." He also went on The Breakfast Club and said that Diddy was fruity.
And when he do it, he says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity.
50 Cent also claimed that Diddy once tried to take him shopping.
So when we gonna get the chance to kick it, like we can just hang out. We gotta kick it. This is Paul. Okay. Telling me we gotta kick it, and he's like, yo, why don't we go shopping? I mean, like I paid for it. I was like, this just saying.
50 also claimed that Diddy's famous parties were just an excuse for him to pick up younger men and turn them into his boy toys. He posted this picture of Lil Baby and said, "See, this is why I don't go to no party Puffy and them at. The f is going on here? Get the EF off my young man, WTF." Chris Brown also told a story of how Diddy allegedly tried to put moves on him, but that's not the story because according to him, he was only 12 years old when that happened.
And then the funniest part, like a lot of people don't know, Diddy turned me down. I was 12 years old. Let's talk about him right now. But it's love now. This is like family, my brother. But let's get to the point. But it was a blessing. You went to see him. Yeah. Was you dancing? So basically, it came as a package deal. Because if you danced, he definitely would have signed you. He didn't. Nah, I'm gonna keep it 100.
Oh, and let's not forget about how Diddy allegedly SA'd Usher when Usher was sent by L.A. Reid to live with Diddy. They referred to it as Puffy Flavored Camp, and that name alone should have been a big enough red flag.
Like Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand.
He then claimed that Diddy forced him to hide his experience at Puffy Camp from his parents.
And your parents were
Mary J. Blige, they ain't know nothing about this shit.
Oh.
I was having a good time, you know what I mean?
Just so y'all know how bad it was, Usher vowed that he would never let his own kids do the same thing.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
So even though he smiles through it all, he clearly knows that whatever happened to him was bad and definitely not child-friendly at the very least. Then there's this video where Diddy slipped up and said that he and Usher used to sleep in the same bed.
The guard stage, that's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying?
Or the time he said this.
If nobody else meets you, you take your time, boy. I see you. Fly ass motherfucker doing Vegas. You in the kitchen eating all my cereal. Man, you doing Vegas.
There's also this blind item that said that Diddy allegedly gave Usher herpes and that Kim Porter was going to talk about it in her book before she passed away.
So what was in Kim's book? You want to hear it? Here you go. Now, I cannot confirm or deny what's in this book, but ain't nobody fit Natasha K. Mean. So in this book, it detailed his relationships with men, footage of those encounters, It had the names of the men he slept with, a disease, allegedly Diddy giving Usher a disease.
So yeah, when Diddy started hanging out with Osiris and flying him out, people immediately thought that Osiris was the next name on Diddy's very long list of alleged boy toys. However, Osiris has always denied this, and he even tried to claim that he wasn't with Diddy in Jamaica.
They said that he said he was Diddy's boy toy.
I was in Jamaica with him. No.
Oh, okay.
I was with a shawty.
All right, but Diddy was there.
No, he was a whole other different.
Oh, so they just made this up?
Yeah, they made it up, yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
This doesn't make sense because he tagged Diddy in the Jamaica pictures and also reposted Diddy's pictures, so his excuse doesn't make sense. Well, a lot of people have been talking about this and talking about how Osiris doesn't seem to realize that he has been groomed. See, a lot of victims don't realize when they've been groomed until years later, and we have to wonder if this is the case with Osiris and if he's going to realize what's going on a couple of years down the line and bring his own lawsuit against Diddy. Fans are shook by these new revelations, and they left comments saying, "That's a damn shame. Something really needs to be done about Diddy and Will's taking advantage of these young men. Man, I hope there's some sort of investigation that will open up. That's so sad this kid's life is so in turmoil because of these two freak nasty bastards. I believe something really bad happened to Bryshere as he was climbing up, and I pray that he step up and get with a lawyer and take back what Diddy has done to him. Bryshere, get on the list for your benefit. Get a piece of the pie, you deserve it. And these people are sick. This is not normal human behavior. I would never let my child go for a career in the entertainment industry." This is one very messy situation, but y'all let me know what you think. Do you think that Osiris is ever going to speak out about what happened to him with Diddy? And what do you think about Bryshere's $50 million lawsuit? Drop your thoughts in the comments.